guys, Lenny with Vintage Nationals on the web at nationalguitar.com. Well, it's been a little while since I've done any kind of a shootout, and we just happen to have like 5 vintage stylos in the shop at the same time right now. I thought I would do a little side-by-side comparison to get some tonal differences and give you a little feel for the difference in sound on each of these. One of the reasons I wanted to do this was because there's some various differences in the construction of these stylos that we're going to talk about. This very first one here is S441, meaning one of the first few hundred built, and now this is actually a steel-bodied stylo, which are pretty rare. By the time they've got to the first 550 or 600 of them, they stopped using steel altogether. But in that first few hundred, many of them were of different materials. Some were even nickel silver. Many of them were also steel, and I think they realized early on that steel doesn't plate very well. They had to copper plate it first and then nickel plate it, so they went to brass. By the time they got to S600 or so, from that point on, most all of them were brass. So it's actually more like a Triolean almost, a maple neck with a steel body. Just happens to be plated instead of painted. The second one I'm playing here is actually a S1334, so it's also a fairly early one. Probably made in the first 6 months of making stylos. This has a brass body, but it has a steel cover plate. I found that the steel cover plate usually gives it a touch of more grit to the tone, but anyway, this is number 2. Maple neck, brass body, steel cover plate, original cone. Number 3 is really a unique one in that this is a 12 fret body. It's brass, but it has the chicken foot cover plate. So this is a transitional piece. They've made very few with this combination. This was actually a square neck. I just put a new National Reso-phonic duplicate maple neck on here. Has the original cone in great shape. But someone had taken the original square neck and sanded the edges of it to make it a round neck, so it was pretty well butchered. We went ahead and put a new neck on this. This would have been like 1933, like one of the last 12 fretters before they went to the 14 fret body. We'll play this one. This will be number 3. For number 4, we actually have a 14 fretter, brass body, brass cover plate, and original cone in this guy. All 4 of these are great sounding guitars. I just want to kind of see if there's a little bit of a difference with the different materials in the tone of these. So I'm just going to play like a minute of each guitar side by side and see what you hear as far as differences. One thing to be aware of on the 14 fretters is when they went from a 12 to a 14 fret, they didn't use the same body and elongate. What they did was they squatted the body down. If I have a 12 and a 14 fretter side by side, the height at the top of the headstock is the same. It's the same scale length. They created these 2 frets by making the body 2 frets smaller. Right there would be the 12th fret, 2 frets above the body versus meeting the body at the 12th fret. So there you go. And of course you can see that this is the fuzzy palm being an early rendition. There was several renditions of the palms, and they got more and more articulated as time went on. You can see how defined the palm trees are on this later guitar. This has the paddle headstock, meaning it's one of the very last stylos made. It's got the palm trees on the side of the body, the paddle headstock, the interesting National tuners with a plate cover on the back, and of course the standard pickguard burn from the early pickguards that were on these guitars would gas off and eat right into the plating on that. So that's very common to see the outline of the pickguard on these 14 fretters. Those are the basic differences. Let's go ahead and play one after the other. See if you hear some differences in them. We're just having fun here. I hope you enjoy this. We're going to go from the oldest to the newest. Okay, let's start out with the earliest one. S441 steel body stylo. second one here. It's also fairly early. It's also got a light body. That's one of the other factors. Some of the sheet metal was different gauges along the way. There wasn't one consistent gauge they used throughout. Brass body, steel cover plate, original cone. Number three. Number three, brass body with the chicken foot. Chicken foot. Let's go to the paddle headstock, number 4. There you go, 4 different guitars, 4 slightly different compositions of body materials, all with their original cones and all with the maple neck. I'll let you be the judge. Hope you enjoy this, and we'll see you at the Pick and Parlor at Vintage Nationals on the web at nationalguitar.com. Have a great day. Hope you enjoy this.